Today I'm joined by Jeremy Evans. Jeremy's the founder of Marketing Delivery, who provide marketing solutions exclusively for the automotive sector. And Marketing Delivery is now a tech core 4 company. Hope I pronounced that right, Jeremy. But anyway,
Yep,
welcome.
so far so good.
Well, look, thanks for joining us, Jeremy. Great to speak to you.
Thanks for having
Um,
me. Thanks for inviting me along. Looking forward to it.
Great. So, look, Jeremy, for anyone who doesn't know marketing delivery, how would you describe what you do?
So, as you said, we operate exclusively in automotive, and really what we do is we keep car dealers and manufacturers in touch with their customers. So we use data that sits in car dealers on their various systems and platforms that they have running. We aggregate that data into our data hub, and then we have all sorts of fancy little algorithms. I should probably call them AI things at the moment because everything seems to have gone AI. We have lots of different algorithms running to identify, based on the vehicle, its mileage, its service history profile, its MOT due dates, the customer, and what contact details we've got for them. Identify basically touch points for the dealership and for the manufacturer with that customer based on their vehicle and kind of customer interactions really. And that can be a sales inquiry. So you could go into a car dealership, sit down with a sales exec, leave your details about a car you're looking at, and you might get some follow-up emails over the course of the next few days. You might get some emails about new cars that have come into stock or cars that have dropped in price. Those are the kind of emails that we trigger based on the data that we hold. And then your good old kind of service reminders, MOT reminder emails that you get from car dealerships. Again, we're behind a big chunk of those up and down the country. So we help dealers with their social media. So we run kind of ads for them on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. We take their stock inventory and we kind of, so again, if you've ever been on social media and you've had kind of a used car selection appear in front of you from a car dealer whose website you may have looked at, then that could be us triggering that out to you as well. So really, we're looking for ways to keep customers in touch with their car dealers and the manufacturers through what we can do with the data.
Right, and thank you for explaining that. And I like that because what it sounds like you're doing is making sure that the dealership are more in touch with what their prospective market, their target market want, and making
Yeah,
sure that the target market, the marketing they get is more relevant to
yeah,
them and
yeah.
what they might have expressed an interest in
I
or
guess,
their
yeah.
buying decision. So it
I
matches
guess
those
that's
two neatly
I guess
together.
most consumer-facing businesses have got less and less people in the front line
Yeah.
these days. So we're trying to use the tech to manage that customer relationship in the background and bring the customer and the dealership together at a point where it's right for the customer. So if the customer's decided, yeah, I'm interested in that car, I'll click a button and book a test drive and see if I can come in and talk to it. That's when we'll deliver the lead back to the dealership. And equally, if they want to book a service, again, we'll deliver that lead back for them to make the booking and get them in. So it's really trying to use tech to ease the load on the people so that the people can concentrate on the customers when they actually want to speak to them.
Like it. Great. Okay, well look, let's take a step back
Yeah,
from when you started
yeah,
marketing delivery.
yeah.
Why why did you go why did you decide, well it may have even been before that, but why did you decide to go into business for yourself? Why did you decide to set up a business?
So I guess in my early career, I went through a high street retail career, worked for Marks and Spencer, Woolworths when that was a thing. Boots was a boot store manager. Marketing was always the area that interested me the most, and kind of consumer behavior
Mm.
always interested me the most. And then when I made the move into automotive retail with a couple of dealer groups, and then went to work for Nissan as a manufacturer, I kind of always had the feeling that I wanted to do something. I never felt that I'd arrived at my destination, if you like, when I was
Mm.
working for other people. So kind of always had that niggle in the back of my mind that says, I want to be a bit more in control of what I do, where I go, how I do it. And arrived at the point where the job I was doing at Nissan, I was an agency employee, not a non-headcount employee, so it was kind of limited as to where I could go next. So I kind of thought, well, let's take control a little bit. Let's take my destiny into my own hands, have the courage of my convictions. And my wife was on maternity leave at the time because our daughter had just been born, so it wasn't probably ideal timing. Lots of people
Yeah.
thought I was mad to give up the comfortable job with the company car whilst my wife was on maternity leave to take the leap into self-employment. But it just felt like the right time and the right thing to do. I'd seen through my experience of working in dealer groups as a group marketing manager and on the other side of the fence with the manufacturer looking at the dealer groups, I could see that lots of dealers had great ideas, but didn't have the resources in house to deliver on them. So they didn't have the tech they needed. They didn't have maybe didn't they even have a marketing manager. They maybe had somebody that knew how to get data out of the database, but they didn't really have anyone to kind of pull all that together. So the original plan was for marketing delivery to be that kind of outsourced marketing department. And plan A was that we'd have a network of consultants up and down the country and a kind of network of suppliers behind us to work the marketing machine, if you like, for all these car dealerships. But then in 2008, financial Armageddon happened, and nobody was paying for consulting services.
Yeah.
Um, so quickly pivoted to what can we do with tech?
Okay.
Because if there's lack of people in dealerships now, then what can we do with the tech to make it work harder? Um, so I brought on a kind of consultant to help me with doing some database work. So we had a little FileMaker Pro database set up on a Mac Mini server on my desk, and that was the first iteration of the data hub that we now have sitting on an AWS cloud. Um,
Wow.
and that seemed to resonate with dealers. They were all for how much of this can we automate because we just can't afford people or can't
Yeah.
afford as many people as we used to have. And we want to make sure that things aren't falling down the cracks, and we need that kind of electronic safety net. So consumers were already getting emails from the likes of your Boots, your Tesco's, your Amazons of this world
Yeah.
about purchases, and car dealers wanted to know, how do I do that? So we understood the data because we'd used it and worked it, myself and the few people that were working with me at the time, we'd all worked with those database systems in dealerships that we'd worked at. So we understood the processes and the data. We just had to build it into something that could then kind of fire out emails and text messages. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of round one, if you like, of that kind of iteration of the company only lasted a year, and then we moved swiftly into becoming a tech company. So I often joke that I set up a marketing company. I've accidentally ended up running a tech company.
Yeah, and I was going to ask. So what was the moment that you realised that marketing delivery could scale beyond being a sort of traditional agency?
I think it was when we saw how much we could automate, when we had that first set of databases built,
Mm.
and we plugged it into our first, off-the-shelf white label email platform before we started building more complex things ourselves. I realized then that actually we could get people on subscription payment, we could get dealerships on subscription payment models for a service rather than for consulting hours.
Yeah.
Because consulting hours, you're always at risk of those being cut when the going gets tough. But if you've got
Mm.
something in a contract for a subscription-based service, then that's kind of guaranteed revenue.
Yeah.
And that revenue gives you the opportunity to invest in the tech to go again and continually improve it and build it. So that kind of ran us through till just before COVID, really. So just before COVID, we decided that we should build a lot more of this tech ourselves. We were plugging into third-party email broadcast, SMS broadcast systems, and they couldn't give us the level of kind of automation and I guess intelligence from the data that we needed. So we ended up building more and more little bits of middleware to connect the data to the off-the-shelf software, and decided that actually it'd be better just to build the whole thing ourselves. So yeah, just pre-COVID, we myself and my business partners checked down the back of the sofa to see what coppers and pennies we could find to start a big tech project, and started building what is now has now become our voice box platform. Which obviously, when you commit a big chunk of cash to a project just before a global pandemic, again isn't ideal. So some would argue that my timing is quite often not great, but we stuck to our guns, and we got through it and got it built and kind of deployed it in 2021, and by 2023, early 24, we had all of our clients migrated onto it. All new clients were going onto it straight away, kind of natively. And it's just given us so much more flexibility to add features and functionality that we just wouldn't be able to do if we didn't have the whole platform under our own control.
And during that sort of time from from when you started out up until now, say, what was What's the biggest challenge that you've faced being a business owner?
So the initial one for me was understanding and recognizing that I can't be in control of everything,
Right, yeah.
because I become the bottleneck.
Yeah,
And as soon as I become the bottleneck, the business can't grow.
yeah,
So I had to learn to trust people.
yeah,
So I had to bring people in who knew more about their particular field than I did. I'm not a software developer. I love tech and what it can do. I haven't got a clue how it does it. So if I can come up with an idea that goes, wouldn't it be great if, and somebody with a tech background goes, yes, I can do that, then I have to believe them. The realization that I had to bring in people and let them do their job and trust them to do it, and I couldn't insist on everything coming through me, otherwise we would grind to a halt. That was a big recognition, and with that comes the acceptance that every now and then things don't go right.
yeah,
And I guess you have to swallow that for the greater good of growth and expansion, and manage that so that when it happens, it's a learning process. And if it really comes down to it, it's something that you will, as business owners, we all have to deal with the good and the bad elements of working with people and hiring and firing, don't we? So, we that's been the biggest thing for me really as a business owner, is as the business has grown, to let people have their time to do what they need to
yeah.
do, but kind of manage, develop those people in those roles.
Yeah, I always think you can grow a business to a certain level through sheer hard work and
Yes.
determination.
Yeah.
But once you get to that certain level,
Yeah.
actually, you have to, as you say, start bringing other people in, start
Yeah.
delegating,
Yeah.
because you get to a point where you just can't do everything yourself.
And I think you have to make a decision, don't you, as to, am I doing this to because just I want to be in control of my own life, work balance, and my own lifestyle. In which case, keeping it as a smaller business that I do everything in would
Yeah.
have been an option. Or do I want to try and grow it and make it into something that somebody else might come along and offer me a few quid for in the future? In which case, yeah, I do have to bring more people in. We do have to grow. We do have to expand, and that involves bringing in people who I don't know, whose skill set I have to trust, to help us get to where we want to get to.
And I think you've really well, you've highlighted a number of key points there, but the one that you've just mentioned there is that decision.
Yeah,
The decision of deciding actually what is it that you want.
yeah,
Does a business owner go, actually, no, I don't, I'm quite happy to carry on working as I'm working now and running this business on my own, and
yeah.
or do I want to grow it? Do I want to get other people involved in running it? And by the way, it's one isn't right and one isn't
No,
wrong.
absolutely. It's it's
The
it's
key
it's
thing is
it's an
what's right
individual
for
decision.
you
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
business.
absolutely. It's an individual decision for what is right for you as the business owner. For plenty of people, it's the right decision to keep it small, keep it with you and maybe one or two others, and run it for yourself. And yeah, that's absolutely fine.
And,
I
and the key thing there is also about acknowledging that if you decide to go down that route, it's it's likely that the business is going to finish and end at some
yeah,
stage.
yeah,
Because if it relies heavily on the business owner,
yeah,
then at some stage the business owner is going to exit that business,
yeah,
either through choice or
yeah,
through ill health, or even
yeah,
worse, through death.
yeah,
Um, so it's likely that that business will come to an end. Whereas if you go down the route that you've gone down, where it
yeah,
actually doesn't rely completely
yes,
on you,
yeah.
the business continues.
Yeah, and I guess even then, you then arrive at a point where even if I look at the last couple of years, I could have decided the business can carry on running. I'll take a step back, put in a strong management team. I'll take a step back, and it can keep going as an independent business for as long as it needs to. And I'll earn a nice dividend out of it, but I'll let other people run it, or stay at the helm and get it to a place where which is the choice we made, and the outcome we ended up with, where we can be acquired by a bigger business, and gives us the opportunity to grow again.
Absolutely. And I think again the key points there is actually consciously making those
Yes.
decisions. Sort
Yeah.
of going, okay,
Yeah.
rather than just being dragged along a certain
Yeah.
route,
Yeah.
consciously saying, right,
Yeah.
which way do I want to go? So
Yeah.
so let's touch on that point that we've you've mentioned there, is the move to become part of Tech Core 4.
Yes.
That's a big milestone. What
Yeah.
what told you that that was the right move? not just financially, but
Yeah.
strategically as well.
Yeah, so we'd arrived at a point kind of last year where, as part of our plans to expand and grow again, we accepted we would need to get into some relationships with manufacturers within automotive. And to do that, we were going to have to compete with the likes of Tech Core 4, who
Mm.
have manufacturer contracts, kind of long-term manufacturer contracts are great in that space. So we either had to enhance our product suite to do some of the things we've not yet done so that we could have an offering which we could compete with the likes of TechCore 4 for, or we had to have conversations with companies like TechCore 4 and say, have we got some things that would be useful to you because you've got some things that would be useful to us, and are we better together than we are fighting each other?
Yeah.
And as it turned out, with TechCore 4, that's exactly it. They needed a kind of fulfillment engine that we had with the VoiceBox platform. We
Mm.
needed to do some work to build our data platform to be able to compete with theirs and some of the activities it did that we didn't do. So rather than both of us go off and spend millions of pounds building competing products, actually we could save ourselves a lot of time and money and effort here and plug it all in together and head off into the horizon together
Yeah.
with enhanced products on both sides for our dealer and manufacturer clients. So once I started talking to some parties that were interested in us, it became fairly clear fairly early on that Tech Core 4 was a great fit for us.
Very fair. Yeah. Cool. And what would you say is the biggest challenge facing your business right now?
As we sit here now, it's integration into with bringing the two businesses together because
Yeah.
obviously we have field teams, we have tech teams, we have tech stacks, we have brands and kind of marketing messages that we need to bring together and align, and that's never a quick and easy thing to do. Whilst we have shareholders who want to see a return on their investment in us, so we need to get out there and sell our wares. Whilst putting it all, kind of integrating it all and bringing it all together in the background. Now, our industry, automotive, is in a constant state of flux. Whether it's governments trying to decide which propulsion units we should all be using. Not too long ago, we were all being told to go and buy diesel cars, and I read a report this morning that said diesel might disappear from the fourth courts in 4 years' time.
Wow.
Now we've been all being pushed into EVs when. If we were to all switch to an EV, the grid would grind to a halt.
Yeah.
But we're being pushed to do that, and manufacturers are trying to keep up with this and decide on product investment plans um, for 10 years, 20 years off the back of government policy, which, as we know, government policy changes, as the wind blows, really, depending on what the polls tell them. So the industry is in a constant state of flux, from the war in Ukraine. Who knew that the biggest engine loom manufacturing plant in Europe was in Ukraine?
Right. Yeah.
So those kind of things are coming at environmental change. Um, yeah, there's an awful lot hitting the automotive industry constantly, year in, year out. So I guess it's constant threat, but it's constant
Yeah.
agility. So
Yeah.
the industry has been reacting to change for decades.
Mm.
There's a lot of talk about Chinese entrants in the market at the moment. Well, we've had Korean entrants and we've had Japanese entrants in the past. So, it's not, I can remember the Nissan Bluebird. It was
Yeah.
probably called
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Datsun Bluebird at the time, actually, or the
Right.
Datsun
Yeah.
Sunny,
I remember
you
it
know,
well. Yeah. Yeah.
as this big threat to UK manufacturing because the Japanese were coming. And then we had Hyundai and Kia coming, so the Koreans are coming, and now we've got the Chinese coming. So there's always been new entrants to the market. There's always been new outlooks on what's happening in the industry, and the industry is pretty good at being fairly agile and kind of moving with the times. So whilst it's a constant existential threat, it's also pretty adept at dealing with it. And our job is to see those things coming and be agile enough with them that we can lead our clients, to safety, if you like, to go, look, we've got a solution for that, or we've thought about it, we've got something, we've got the intelligence behind it that says maybe we should do this or maybe we should do that, based on what our kind of research and intelligence and data tells us.
And again, I think that's the key thing there, isn't it? Making sure that you're constantly looking forward.
Yeah,
Okay, what's coming on the horizon,
yeah.
and and then interpreting that in terms of how can we help our client base to
Yeah, it's how can we
yeah.
apply that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I'm a new chief product officer at TechCore 4. He has got a resolute view on the horizon, which is fantastic. The business needs
Mm.
somebody who's got that view of this is where technology is going, this is where the industry is going, this is where, globally this industry is going, so that our offering can keep pace with that. And then it's our job to interpret that, and make it into something that dealers understand and manufacturers need,
Yeah.
to make sure that we're the people they turn to when they need help.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. It's that, yeah, and there's some key words that you sort of mentioned there as well, like things like research. Research is key. Finding out what's going on. Agility was one of the other key words. You're keeping agile because the world around us is constantly changing. You mentioned it from an
I
automotive.
always said, kind of pre-acquisition, as marketing delivery, we're like an 18-year-old startup.
Yeah,
We're constantly reevaluating and looking to say, well, what else can we do? Whether it's bringing social media products to the market, whether it's bringing, it wasn't that long ago that email and SMS marketing was a new thing to the market. So we're always trying to look for where we should go, and what our clients need, and what would help our clients, with achieve their business priorities. Because we can try and force upon them what we think, but if we understand their business priorities and we can give them something that'll help with that, then yeah, we often say we don't want our clients to spend any more money. We just want them to spend it with us, not with other people.
yeah,
So if we
absolutely. Yeah,
if we
yeah.
can give them solutions that other vendors can't, that means they spend more of their budget with us, but they don't spend any more budget. Then that's great. That's a win-win.
And they get a better return on investment because they're investing their budget with
Yeah,
somewhere that's going to give them great returns. So
no,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
I get that. And look, there's one question I always like to ask everybody that's kind enough to join me on this on this podcast, and that's this: what is the best advice that you would give to an 18-year-old you?
Take every opportunity that comes your way. So if somebody says, "Do you want to try this?" say yes.
Yeah,
So whether that's a 3 month secondment, whether that's a trip, whether that's a course, yeah, take everything. Take every. Don't believe that you know your path and all your answers at the age of 18.
yeah,
So take every opportunity that comes your way, but above all, do what you enjoy. Don't do what you think you should do because that's expected of you. Do what you enjoy, because if you enjoy it, you'll progress with it.
yeah. And generally, you're good at the things you enjoy as well,
Yeah,
aren't you? So
yeah.
yeah. Uh, and if you're not good at it, you generally enjoy getting better at it.
Exactly. Yeah, you put more effort into it to get better at it, don't you? If it's
Yeah,
something that you enjoy. Yeah.
yeah. No, look, great shares. I like that. Yeah, take every opportunity, and
Yeah.
that's a brilliant. And do something you enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, look, Jeremy, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today and sharing more about your business, but also your journey as well. So thank you very much.
That's been great. Thanks, Simon. Really good to speak to you.